Masculinity is quite the hot topic in modern society. And basically, like everything else in society, you have two polar opposites that basically try to recruit people to their side of the fence. On one end, you have basically the alpha male worshippers who think that they are the cream of the crop when it comes to presenting themselves in a way that men should all act. And they bestow their wisdom on us peasants by telling us how many women we can have or how much money we can have, and all we have to do is basically become a douchebag with no real visible emotions. Oddly enough, these are the most emotionally fragile dudes, and if you say anything that doesn't present them in the light of an alpha male, then you're just wrong and they explain why you're wrong. And on the other side, you have the all men are trash movement where every man is a cheater and isn't worthy of any amount of attention from a woman, which is kind of ironic because neither of these two sides know that they're talking about pretty much the exact same group of people. Now, I would not consider myself the most masculine of men out there, but I don't think I'm some weak-willed, spaghetti-spined, sad excuse for a man either. I fall somewhere in the middle there. I learned basically everything I know about being a man from Mulan and from SpongeBob. I even wore a v-neck for this video because only the manliest of men wear v-necks so they can show off their chest hair, at least in theory. So today I'm going to be trying to learn how to be more of a man than I am already, and what better place to do that than TikTok. So grab your notebooks because we might be getting some big brain knowledge that you might want to jot down.
This is 10 things that every guy should be able to do. Number 1, you need to be able to start a fire.
I got that one on pat, my boy. Man, I can feel the chest hairs growing already. Look, my lighter is even limp.
If hits the fan, you need to be able to start a fire. You need to be able to boil water and fend for your family.
Wait, what kind of world do you think we live in? This isn't World War Z. Like, I'm not gonna be just learning how to make a fire by smashing stones together. Does it make me any less of a man if I use a magnifying glass in a sunny day on some very dry shrubbery to make a fire, or do I have to use sticks and stones?
It can sanitize things. It's a morale booster.
Morale? Hold on. Woo! You know what? That did boost my morale. I should just take a picture of that moment and share it with my mom on Facebook because she would feel the inspiration.
So if you can't start a fire, get proficient at that. Nail it down. Lock it in your brain.
It's all locked in there. Don't even worry about it. Lock and key, at least for another hour or so, because I do have ADHD.
And also, when you're with a bunch of people and they're like, hey, let's start a fire, and no one knows how to do it, and you know how to do it, that's actually like 100 points above everybody else.
Well, in my mind, if I'm with a group of dudes, and everybody wants to build a fire, but nobody knows how to build a fire, I don't imagine anyone in that group will know how to maintain a fire, and that's how you get things like the California wildfires. So, nah, I'm good.
Part 2. If you're a dude, you need to be able to use a knife. And when I say use a knife, I don't mean chop cucumbers in the kitchen.
Yeah, what are we, women? We don't cut vegetables. Those are for women. We take our machetes and go hunt the game out back.
I mean, use a knife to make a spear, to whittle, to make a tent peg, to use it in a manner that is going to help you survive in the wilderness or in just day-to-day life.
Okay, you had me there for a second because, taking a stick, whittling it down to a spear is a very useful trick for, whenever you get stuck in the wilderness somewhere, which happens fairly often. I mean, have you watched Discovery and Animal Planet? It happens to like every other person. There's like a 50% chance that you're going to be stranded in the wild in the next hour. It either will happen or won't happen, 50-50. But then you said something along the lines of, it'll be good for my day-to-day life. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I don't go down to the local river with my spear that I whittled from a stick and to start stabbing at the water for my weekly supply of fish. Hold on, sorry, I'm here to learn. How am I going to be more masculine if I'm just making sarcastic remarks about everything that he does and teaches me? I will never be more manly. We need to focus.
But if you're not comfortable with a knife and you don't know how to get comfortable with a knife, watch some YouTube videos on how to whittle, how to carve, how to handle a knife without cutting your arm off.
If you're not comfortable with a knife, no amount of YouTube videos is going to help you with that. You just got to go in there and just make yourself bleed, and then you'll know you did something wrong. Am I right? I mean, trial by fire, that's the best way. Because real men are not afraid of pain and blood. We embrace it!
Every guy should be able to set up a tent.
I mean, after a certain age, most men, I would like to say, can pitch a tent pretty effortlessly, but maybe you're not there yet. Maybe someday.
You do not want to be that guy on the trail being like, hey, can you guys help me set up my tent? No.
Yeah, can you imagine that? You go camping with all the boys, and you ask for a little camaraderie, a little team spirit, if you will, and ask a simple question of, hey, can you help me pitch this tent? You'll be the laughingstock of the entire trip. I mean, the other guys will go out for the nightly hunt for their meal, and they'll just leave you back at camp cutting cucumbers. I mean, that'll be embarrassing.
Your man card is not fully developed if you can't set up a tent, especially when there comes a time when you're camping or you need to make a tent and you need it fast. You don't want to be fumbling around through the bag, through the instructions. You need to know what the heck is going on, and you need to be able to set that tent up.
I mean, I don't really ever go camping because the one time I did, it was really boring. But what the hell? I mean, let me go on Amazon and buy a tent to start setting it up in the backyard just in case.
You need to know how to change your tire. If you break down on the side of the road with a flat tire, you need to be able to change that thing proficiently. You don't need to call mommy. You don't need to call AAA or whatever. You need to know how to change a tire.
This is actually some pretty good advice for men and women because everyone should know how to change a tire. That's good advice.
And also, if you're ever with your girlfriend or your wife or whatever, you need to be able to take charge of that situation and replace their tire for them, okay? They don't need to be on the ground jacking up cars on the interstate. You need to protect them, make sure they feel comfortable and safe. We're moving on.
Hold on, not yet. Hit the pause button. It was going so well, but you had to throw in that little line there about women shouldn't be doing it. Step aside, babe. You don't need to dirty up your pretty delicate little fingers on this big dirty tire. Let a man take care of the dirty work. If you're stranded on the side of the road, I'm guaranteeing that she wants to get it done just as fast as you do, so why don't you do something revolutionary, hold on, and work together. What the fuck? You'll get it done twice as fast. I mean, if anything, she can just stand there and hold your lug nuts, am I right, fellas?
Things that every guy should be able to do. Number 1.
Wait, didn't we do number 1 already? Wasn't that the fire thing? Remember the morale booster? Woo! So in my notes, should I replace this with number 1, or is this just another number 1? Like, is this chapter 2? Is the second thing a man should know how to do is count? Sounds pretty important. Nah, you don't need counting. Why do that when you can just whittle a spear and pitch a tent for a camping trip that I'm never gonna go on?
This one sounds very basic and simple, but every guy should know how to use a hammer.
Hold on. You have to be worthy to use such a powerful tool as a hammer, bro. Not just anybody can lift this thing.
To drive a nail in a piece of wood and also remove a nail from a piece of wood.
Oh, not this hammer? Okay, my bad. I mean, sure, you might need to know how to drive a nail into a piece of wood. I mean, if you miss that nail and it hit your thumb, Jesus Christ. I mean, how are you going to learn to count then?
I've seen people that do not know how to do this, and it's very embarrassing.
Then why don't you go over there and be the man that you're trying to be and show this lowlife how to put the nail into the piece of wood? Like, come on, dude. Be a gentleman and help a brother out. Don't let me just smack the nail into my finger. Come on.
If you're a dude, you need to know how to do both of these things. Go to Lowe's, get a hammer, get a piece of wood, get a nail it in the wood, take it out of the wood. Don't hit your finger. It's not that difficult, but if you don't know how to do it, you're going to look like a fool.
No. I think I'm going to look like a fool when my girlfriend comes home and sees me just smacking a nail into a piece of wood or just like some random 2x4 to upgrade my man card. Is it required for men to wear sunglasses inside? There are only 2 real reasons for them to do that if they're not blind. 1, it's so they can look at things that they're not supposed to be looking at without anyone noticing that they're looking at things. Or 2, they don't want the world to see that their eyes are nothing but deep brown because they're so full of shit.
Every guy should know how to drive a manual transmission.
Alright, I can do that. Check.
I know your dad probably had one.
Nope, he didn't. My mom actually did. She had 2.
Cousin probably had one.
Nope, cousins didn't either.
If you can't drive a manual, you're just limiting yourself to the cars you can drive.
Are you though? Yes, you can't technically drive every car in the world if you don't know how to do a manual. But it's like the same thing as saying something like, you should learn how to fly a plane, because if you don't, you are severely limiting your methods of transportation in the world. Like, come on, dude, come on.
It's also sick. If you do know how to drive when you're kind of in the elite group of people that exist that drive manual, they're kind of up here. It's like a special club. And if you don't know how to drive a manual, then you're never going to enter that club. Sorry to say that.
I don't think he's that sorry. Also, no, you're not in some elite club if you know how to drive a stick shift or a manual. Some of the dumbest people I have ever met in my life can drive a stick shift. So it's basically like an open membership to every kind of person. What if you're in a heavy traffic area like me? Man, not getting above second gear for 30 minutes of your commute? Pfft. Automatic looks pretty good.
But your man card isn't fully developed if you don't know how to drive a manual.
Again with the man card thing. Where do I get one? Is that real? Am I supposed to get it in the mail when I turn 18? Do I have to apply for one? Instead of like a Hogwarts summons, do I get a piece of mail from a guy in a truck that has a tent, a spear that he whittled down with his own knife that's in the back with a hammer and a piece of wood that he's been practicing driving nails into? Oh, and don't forget the fire starter kit he has as well.
Every guy needs to know how to shoot a gun. If you're not comfortable shooting a gun, your man card is not fully yet developed.
Do I know how to shoot a gun? Do I know it? Have you seen me play Halo? Overwatch? Call of Duty? I have a high amount of experience with firearms, let me tell you.
It's also necessary for hunting. If there ever comes a time when you need to actually hunt and actually provide for your family, you need to know how to shoot a gun.
Should I prioritize learning how to shoot a gun for hunting, or should I prioritize learning how to whittle a stick down to a spear for hunting? I don't remember my dad taking out his pistol to go fishing, but I could be wrong. It's a little fuzzy in there.
I'd rather be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. You know what I'm saying?
No, I don't actually. Because if you're a warrior in a garden, you won't know the first thing about what you can and cannot eat. You'd be picking up some poisonous berry and eating that. Meanwhile, the gardener in the war is basically just like, don't shoot my team, shoot other team. Makes sense. I'd rather die from a bullet than pick up the wrong berry in a garden, alright? Calm down there, Rambo.
You need to know how to grill some meat.
Ooh, this is my area. Okay, I work at a place where I grill lots of meats. I watch Hell's Kitchen. I watch MasterChef on the daily. I got this part on lockdown. This is no problem.
You don't want to rely on your woman.
Sorry, I gotta get into the mindset of a man. No, babe, I don't want you touching my meat. Go in there and cut the cucumbers.
It's kind of another unspoken club, kind of like driving a manual transmission. Do you know how to grill a steak? If you don't, you're not part of the club.
Never have I ever been asked if I can grill a steak while trying to make a new friend. Never. Man, the dudes I hang out with must be a bunch of puss.
Okay, you don't want your woman to out-grill you, and she doesn't need to be worrying about that, but it is something that you need to know how to do.
Do ladies really worry about that? Whether she can grill a steak better than a man can? Is that a legit worry? Is that a red flag? Pfft, you can't grill a steak on the fire that you started with your bare hands. You can beat it, buddy. We need somebody with a penis. Honestly, with all these tips that he's given me, once I start implementing them, I don't feel like any women are going to be able to resist all of this. It's just impossible. It won't be fair. It'll be like GTA cheat codes all of a sudden.
Every guy should be able to execute 25 proper push-ups right then and there at any given time.
20? All right, hold on. Can you see me? Barely. Pretty sure that was 25. I kind of lost count because my necklace kept smacking me in the eye. Now, if that was after a chest day, I might not have been able to do 25. Whew, that was close. I was almost not a man there.
If anyone says drop and give me 25, you should be able to drop and give them 25. And I don't want any of these sissy push-ups that are like on your knees, you know.
Yeah, men don't get on their knees.
You need real push-ups. You need to be solid as a board.
Solid as a board that you practice hammering nails into.
You need to be stiff.
Stiff enough to pitch a tent.
You need to be able to execute push-ups. It's part of being a dude. You need to be fit.
Okay, that's almost a good message. I mean, everybody needs to be fit. There is an immense health benefit from just getting like 8,000 steps a day. Just that simple. Or going to the gym like 3 times a week. That's really all it takes. So if you're not doing any sort of exercising, male or female, I highly recommend it. This is coming from someone who used to be really overweight and now has a personal training certificate from NASM. If you have any questions on how to get started, let me know down below. I will be more than happy to help you guys get started.
And if you can't do the push-ups, I would recommend getting stronger.
Thanks for the insight. If you're not strong enough, just get stronger. I'm not dropping the mic.
Every guy should be able to use a power drill. If you can't use a power drill, I'm sorry. How are you going to replace the toilet paper holder in your bathroom?
Jesus Christ, what did you do to that thing to rip it from the wall? Did you have some like late night Taco Bell and not have anything else to grip onto? Like, my God, man.
You're not going to be able to. You don't want to call a handyman to do that.
I absolutely do. I pay way too much in rent to a company that owns the house that I live in, and they don't really care about any of the tenants, so I'm absolutely calling the freaking handyman for anything. I'll freaking call the maintenance team to change a light bulb. I don't care. Oh, I forgot I'm trying to learn how to be a man. Dude, this is never going to work out if I keep being sarcastic.
You can definitely tell when it's someone's first time drilling a screw into a piece of wood.
Is this like stage 2 of handyman training? Like you go from learning how to hammer a nail into a piece of wood to then learning how to drill a screw into a piece of wood? That's a pretty steep leap, buddy. Like, I don't know if I can go from freaking just smacking this metal thing into another metal thing all the way to power tools that I gotta... Oh, God, that's intimidating.
If you're a dude, you should be able to jump a car. I'm just saying that flat out.
I mean, anybody can jump a car. All you need is a small ramp and just smash the gas pedal, and before you know it...
You're going to need to be able to jumpstart a car many times in your life.
Oh, jumpstart a car, my bad. I'm not masculine enough to know the lingo quite yet, so maybe once I apply for my man card, maybe on the back it'll have an index that'll show me the vocab list.
So you might as well learn right now. Don't let your man card be stripped from you.
Wait, it can be stripped? By who? The local frat house?
Every dude should know how to split a piece of firewood.
When I become a man, like how many times am I going to have to go camping? Like Jesus Christ, every weekend? I like the indoors. There's AC and a working toilet. I don't like to look around and see 30 other dudes drilling holes and smashing hammers into wood.
Do not go like this, swing, miss the log, and chop yourself in the shin. You don't want to do that.
I don't know. I don't think there's anything more manly than scars. Hey bro, how'd you get that giant scar? I was just chopping some wood for me and the boys, you know, when we were out in the wilderness just enhancing our man cards. And all of a sudden I decided to add some character to my leg.
YouTube how to split a log first. Do not just go out there and start swinging axes all over the place and cut your legs off. Learn how to split a log.
Anyone that decides to pick up a sharp object and accidentally cuts their legs off should probably never leave a bubble wrapped room. I mean, it's like the equivalent of like a kid being handed Play-Doh and saying, hey, don't eat this because it'll make you sick, and then they eat it and still question why they're throwing up.
If you're a dude,
I don't honestly know if I'm a man anymore, judging by all the things you're teaching me today.
you need to know how to play cards, or at least poker. Texas Hold'em is a classic. You need to just Google how to play Texas Hold'em, watch a couple YouTube videos. You don't want to be the one sitting around with your buddies and they're like, hey, let's play some poker, and you're like, oh, I don't know how to play.
I learned poker from a young age. Ironically, it was from my mom. The only thing that I'm learning today is my mom has more of a man card than I do.
You just want to have things in your back pocket that you can be like dishing out.
Like my wallet? Yeah, just go learn some beginner tips on how to play poker and then just spread your wallet open for the boys. They'll definitely keep inviting you back for poker night, I promise.
You need to know how to throw a spiral football. If you can play sports, you will have male friends.
What is this, the 80s? Who's judging anybody on how well they can throw a spiral football? I could throw a spiral football because I played sports growing up, but a lot of my friends are gamer nerds, so they probably can't. So am I supposed to look down on them on my throne of masculinity as I look down on these peasants because they can't make pigskin do a circle in the air?
If you're a man who is incompetent in a lot of areas, it's going to be kind of hard to make male friends because guys like to have people around them that can get stuff done.
Have you spent time around other dudes? Just curious. Yes, men can get a lot of stuff done, but you know what men are really good at? Getting absolutely nothing done for hours at a time. Men find enjoyment and entertaining in literally the smallest of things. So if I'm just sitting by a campfire that I built with my bare hands and I'm just whittling a spear out of a stick and someone comes along and tries to kill my chill vibes, I'm gonna kick them out.
This is a very small example of that, but throwing a football is something that you can learn relatively quickly and you can become competent in without spending years of your life practicing at it.
Throwing a ball back and forth is getting things done? Well, freak, maybe I am a man.
Extra bonus tip.
Oh man, bonus tips! Bonus tips, boys!
Do not buy Phillips head screws. Those things strip so easily.
What? You should have said that before I practiced with the drill, man. What the fuck? You know, screws don't strip if you apply enough pressure, so you either need to go back to the push-up stage, or you need to even go even further back and do more of the drilling into the piece of wood.
Get a star bit or a square bit. Square and star bits do not strip.
I guarantee you someone out there has stripped both of these things. 100% guarantee that. But again, maybe that's why you should just buy a 2x4 and just practice doing that, you know?
Gonna save you a ton of time and a ton of frustration whenever you're trying to screw that piece of wood to the other piece of wood.
Yeah, because I do that so often in my day-to-day. I'd hate to waste my time freaking doing it with a Phillips. Just ew.
Every dude should know how to parallel park his or her car. Sorry, it's a his car for sure.
Oof. Talking like that nowadays can get you into some trouble there, Slim Jim. Also, what if you're parking your wife's car? Is it still a his car? Am I married to a man now because I'm parking my wife's car?
One thing that I will tell you, a tip right off the bat.
You're giving me so many tips today, man. You're being generous now.
Do not try to pull in forward into a parallel parking spot. You always need to pull up next to the person that is in front of the spot that you want and back in like this. That's how you start it. You do not pull in like this. You do not have your man card fully completed unless you know how to parallel park.
Thanks for the hand gestures there. It really painted a picture for me because otherwise I would have been confused. Do I always need to back in? Like what if you're in like an empty parking lot and you can just kind of pull your car straight through, giving the illusion that you've backed in? Can I just do that? Or do I need to back into every spot regardless? You need to be a little more clear when giving these advice, okay? Because sometimes it can get a little confusing, you know?
If you're a dude and you're over 21, you need to be able to know how to make a drink of your choice and make it well.
I mean, my drink of choice is typically water, but if I'm feeling a little spicy, I'll have a Coke Zero.
I can make a margarita that knocks everybody's socks off at any time. You give me the ingredients, I can nail it every time.
Wait, you can make it, but someone else has to supply you with all of the ingredients? Then you're not making it. If somebody doesn't know how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but you give them all the ingredients, I'm sure by dumb luck they could figure it out.
You want to have one of these in your back pocket because at a cocktail party, at a friend's house, you need to know how to make one of these classic drinks and nail it every time.
Wait, what about people like me who don't like going to parties and don't like drinking? Do I still need to know how to make a margarita to get my man card? Is that like one of the check boxes I have to check off?
Figure out how to do that with your drink of choice so that you can pull it out at any time.
Oh, I can nail a glass of water. Don't you worry about that.
Every dude should know how to shake hands properly. You do not want to do a dead fish handshake. Hey, how you doing? Oh, nice to meet you. That conveys weakness. That conveys that you've never interacted socially properly with a man.
Okay, firm handshakes is actually another thing that I have down pat. I've got this one. I've gotten several comments about my firm handshake that dates all the way back to when I was in like 6th grade for orientation with my teachers. So I got this.
Hey, how you doing? Look them in the eye. Squeeze. Actually squeeze their hand.
Okay, I'm not trying to break your fingers. I'm just trying to give you a little squeeze to make sure you're not a bitch. Like, I don't understand the idea of making someone else's hand feel like that imagery you see from Tom and Jerry when he smashes his hand with a mallet and it comes up all crinkled and his, like, fingers are throbbing. Like, if you don't squeeze their hand to make it feel like that, then you come off as weak and pathetic.
Don't just let it sit there.
Yeah, don't just hold their hand. What are you, gay?
And guys, the thing is, majority of people don't know how to do this, and so when you do it properly, you'll probably get a compliment on your firm handshake.
I have had way more handshakes that have been really firm than really limp. So maybe everybody has already gotten all these like man tips before me. Like everyone else has their man cards and I'm just late to the party. But since I'm late to the party, I'll bring the margarita mix. Well, I've learned quite a few tips today, and I've learned quite a lot about how to get my man card and how to improve my man card and my life in general, and hopefully you guys have as well. Leave a comment down below if you want to add a little manly tip of your own. Leave a sub to show some love. And of course, have a marvelous day. Peace!